Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Future Revolution are both playable right now, but which game is better? I'm going to discuss the positives and negatives of each game with my brother Goofy Rexy, and if you're ready for that, guys, Goofy, tell him what to do.
Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Yes, hello, what is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I hope you're doing well. In this video, we are talking about Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Future Revolution. Which game is better? We're talking about the positives and negatives of each, comparing them with each other. And if this is your first time here, we're covering both games on this channel. For now, I am joined with my brother Goofy Rexy. Now, Goofy, what we're gonna do for a little bit is we're gonna talk about this game, the positives and negatives of Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Future Revolution, because they both have positives and negatives for each of them. But what I'm doing is posting daily gameplay clips on my ValleyFlyin 76 channel until that game gets monetized, and then all my Future Revolution content is gonna go to that channel, and then only Strike Force on this channel. So if you guys want to see some gameplay, make sure you check out my second channel over on ValleyFlyin76.com. But without further ado, let's talk about Marvel Future Revolution and how it compares to Marvel Strike Force. Now, you are someone that has played both games. Just in a nutshell right now, which game are you liking better?
Yeah, so it's hard to say which one I'm liking better, but I guess because this is new and fresh, I think Marvel Future Revolution is something I'm enjoying a little bit more. There's some monotony, right, with Marvel Strike Force, so this is kind of just a new, fresh thing. So I find myself I'm playing a little bit more than Marvel Strike Force. Sorry, Alliance members, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think just because of the newness, just because we've been dealing with the with a lot of the. How did I say it? How did I say this without swearing? The BS from Scopely for so long. It's gotten kind of old, and the novelty, the freshness of Netmarble is very fun right now. Let's talk about these. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know where it's going to be in a couple weeks. I'm not sure what it's going to be like when we unlock a lot of the stuff, but I see a lot of PvP type elements that and a lot of social aspects that's going to keep me involved in this game. So hopefully that continues. But let's just talk about these genres before we get into some of these other aspects. We're going for open world MMO type RPG with Future Revolution versus more of a hero collector turn-based RPG with Marvel Strike Force. Which one do you prefer? I know you play both. I know you like both, and I know you're preferring Future Revolution right now. But as far as just the genres, which one do you generally prefer? The hero collector or the open world MMO type?
Yes, I definitely more like the open world MMO type. I'm a big console player, so I've been playing PlayStation, Xbox, all that for years, right? Yeah. So I actually just recently switched over about a year and a half, actually a little over 2 years to playing some mobile games there. Marvel Strike Force was actually my first mobile game that I played, and I like it obviously because of the hero collector aspect, because you're collecting heroes that I grew up reading in the comics, right, and watching cartoons. So Marvel Strike Force definitely does have that, does satisfy that feel for me. But in terms of just overall gameplay, I tend to like the open world aspect a little bit more, just because grew up playing different type of games, Assassin's Creed, obviously just different type of games that are like that, Halo, Call of Duty. I like those type of different sort of games.
Gotcha. For me, I've been playing hero collectors for longer than I've been playing MMOs. There's a few MMOs in the past that I've checked out, but mainly hero collectors. So for me, I think I like the hero collector genre a little better than the open world MMO. I like building up a lot of characters, building up a roster, whereas this, you have your squad, which is like your overall, I guess would be your character, your commander in other type of hero collectors. And you have that, and that is your universal buffs that you have for your entire roster. But pretty much you're building up these characters. You only have 8 characters right now, whereas other hero collectors, you have hundreds and hundreds of characters. So you're gonna be spending a lot more time on each individual character. I like that. I think I tend to prefer the hero collector more. Let's talk about the battle style, though. We're working with action type battles, whereas you can see Storm doing battle here, using all of her skills, versus the turn-based. I think it's a little easier to control versus turn-based, but obviously visually, this looks so much more appealing. One, you have to pay attention a little more with his action, because if you screw up, you're gonna get damaged, you're gonna die. Whereas the hero whereas the turn-based, you could, it's a little more forgiving. You could be doing other things, and because there's a turn, if you hit that, it's not, you don't have to react right away with a turn-based. Right. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So which do you prefer overall, the turn-based or the action type?
So I think I prefer the action type because it's a little bit more of a rush feel for me. So I'm like, no, I gotta dodge. It's like, no, attack. No, I prefer more of the action aspect of this. Like I said, once again, it's just it's a little bit more nuanced, right? It's a little bit more. You got to press a lot more buttons. For me, I like the rush feel a little bit better on this aspect.
Yeah, this, for me, there's a little bit of a learning curve with the action RPGs. I'm doing the gameplay over on my second channel. It's not very good yet. I'm still trying to figure this out and dodging the stuff. I used to play Future Fight, which is an action type RPG, so I do like the action type. But I've been playing Strike Force, which is a turn-based, for so long. It's gonna take me a little while to get all the nuances and the timing and watching what is going on in the screen. So I like both. I think I'm a little better at the turn-based, but I think I'm neutral at this one. I wish it was a little better. But as far as the enjoyment, both of them are very enjoyable. Let's talk about the social aspect, because in Marvel Strike Force, we have alliances where we do raids, we do wars. We also have friends, which we could compete with in PvP. With Marvel Future Revolution, we also have friends where you donate to them, they could donate to you. We have alliances that you could donate to alliance, and you get global rewards based on what alliance you're in, and that alliance is per character, I believe, right? So each character needs to be in a different alliance, whereas your friends list is global with your whole account, I believe. So a little different there. Which do you think has a little better as far as the social aspect? If we go to Alliance there's a few things that you could do in Alliance. You got missions here, you got shops that you could shop with your gold, and you could also shop with Alliance currency. You have Alliance loyalty that you could donate and get different buffs and global buffs. Whereas Strike Force, I guess you got Stark Tech, which you could upgrade your characters as well. Which do you prefer?
So honestly, this is probably one of those ones where I feel I'm gonna be neutral on this one. There's certain aspects I do like in Marvel Strike Force. The Stark Tech, I think more I do like the whole idea of raids and teaming up together and obviously having your own lanes in Marvel Strike Force and raids. And I do like the if you're strategically planning out wars, you can kind of attack another team together. So I feel like right now, Marvel Strike Force, I like that aspect of it. Here, I'm still trying to figure this one out. I don't necessarily know the full-on purposes of Alliance yet in Marvel Future Revolution. I know that there's other stuff that you can buy, and there's ways to help your Alliance get to another level, but I don't really see fully yet the yes, there's benefits, but I don't fully see the benefits yet of Future Revolution's Alliance. So and also I think that the number you can only have 20 people in your Alliance in Future Rev. I feel like that number should be a little bit higher. I guess there are positives and negatives. I think probably now that I'm talking about it, I think I probably like Marvel Strike Force Alliance aspect. I think the other social things in Future Rev that I like a little bit better, but I think from just a specific Alliance aspect, not really feeling it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the missions and other stuff you could do with other players. But as far as just alliances, I guess I think it's, for me, it's incomplete, because a lot of what I'm thinking of alliances is based on what I've done in Future Fight. Back when I played that game, I haven't really explored the alliances in Future Revolution too much. So my interpretation of what alliances are in this game is based on that past game. Whereas I think it's a little less of what you're able to do, a little less in Marvel Strike Force. You know what I mean? You could launch raids. For me, I turned the chat off, and I have the chat on here, so that's kind of a wash. But yeah, I like that you could donate and get certain buffs. I guess StarTech is similar. I think they're a little more robust in Future Revolution. So because it's incomplete, I'll call that one a wash. But the other thing that we have in Marvel Future Revolution that Strikeforce doesn't have is some other battles that you could do with not just your alliance mates, but anybody. You got these blitz battles, and this is based on your character's level. As you get to different levels, you could do these different blitzes. You could do these solo, or you could do these with anybody that's also doing these blitzes. So blitz mode, I think, is a little better in this mode. You have these most wanted. These are like your daily missions that you're just trying to finish these bosses that will appear on random maps. And then you have your special operations, which is kind of like a big, what would you call this? This is a big battle that you're trying to either protect someone or destroy someone. And you're working cooperatively with 4 members, but there's also ranking, so you're competitive as well. You have battle challenges, raids, you have different arena matches, so a lot of different modes you could do with players, against players. There's Dark Zone. This is the crazy one, level 99, where that's 50 players on the same map at the same time. So as far as alliances total, I'd say it's kind of a wash for me, but as far as the social aspect, what you're able to do with a lot of other players, I think this one just way far outshines Marvel Strike Force, and I think that is proper in an MMO. You need these kind of aspects in MMOs to make it a viable game. So that's where I stand as far as social aspect. Where do you feel as far as these gameplay that you're able to do with other players, not specifically your alliance?
Yeah, so I feel like this is where this kind of takes another step for me, right? Is the social aspect of the game, where I can go into a blitz and I can team up with 3 other random players, and I call them randos, 3 other randos, and pretty much basically just take on a matchup and then get rewards for doing that matchup. It's another way to connect in the game with other players. If I want to do, let's say I want to do a blitz with friends, the players that I'm also playing within the game, I can set up a party and then I can go into that same blitz. I can do the same thing with some of the other special operations, modes that are there as well. So I like that it's better, just because I'm able to socialize with other players in the game, and I can, kind of get to see their playing styles. I may not be using a character, so I get to see how they use that character, and then now I can kind of, it creates an excitement for me when I'm like, oh, that's how you use Spider-Man. Spider-Man looks pretty dope now. Maybe I should try out Spider-Man. So it kind of just gives me that feel. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's a really good aspect that you mentioned there, that you could, by playing with other players, you're able to look at their play styles and learn and get better by doing that cooperative. One thing that you kind of touched on that I do want to elaborate on a little more is that social aspect, where you're taking someone that's brand new, you're not able to and play with them. If you're level 100, you could play up with someone that I guess level 20 is when you unlock your first blitz. So you could play with someone at level 20 and help them in blitz, because it's not just competitive, it's also cooperative. So I like that you could be a brand new player, or you could be a player that's been playing for a long time. You could have one of your friends start and play this game, and you could play with them. Whereas in Marvel Strike Force right now, not really possible. So that's one thing that I think Future Rev does way better than Strike Force. That you could cooperate with brand new players.
It's possible. It's just that it's not going to be fully beneficial for the earlier player. Here, I could be level 100 and somebody could be at level 20, and I can pretty much basically just help them walk through that blitz, and then they can get some good rewards from it. As to where Marvel Strike Force, if I'm starting off doing U7, if I'm doing U7 and they still need T2s, it's not really gonna help them. That's right.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. It is possible in Marvel Strike Force, although it's very detrimental to the high level player to do that. Whereas in this game, I could take a few minutes and help one of my friends get through some blitz battles. It's very simple. So I think this way outshines that. And that just may be due to the genres that it is in the game. Hero Collector versus MMO. So yeah, I think Future Rev wins in it. Sure. User interface. What do you think about the user interface in Strike Force versus Future Rev? And I'm talking because what I'm focused on is a lot of these battles, right? If you want to go into a blitz, a lot of times you'll have to travel there. Or Most Wanted, you have to travel there. Whereas Strike Force, you could just immediately go into the battles. As far as the navigation, I think both places you can navigate pretty easily. But as far as just to travel and the work you need to do to get into battle, which one do you prefer? The Strike Force, or do you prefer this more open world concept that is trying to? I guess the intent is more to like simulate what is going on in a real world or something, in a world, or something like that, right?
Like a real world open world. You kind of get to explore a little bit more. So I actually don't mind the exploration aspect of Future Revolution. Do you think that in some matchups, I will say I don't necessarily like their targeting system. So sometimes you're clicking on an ability and then they're targeting someone else instead of the actual main boss. I've had that happen a couple times. So some of the user interface can be a little bit clunky, but I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it's a soft launch. I mean, stuff like that is probably most likely going to improve. I actually do, in terms of battling, the user interface is a little bit easier to control in Marvel Strike Force. With a game like Future Revolution, you really have to be very specific and careful with what you're doing, especially if you're going up against another player, right? You got to be very specific and careful about what matchups you're selecting. But I think that adds a little bit more to the competitiveness and adds a little bit more to it's almost like this, right? If you're going up against someone that's absolutely wrecking you in Future Revolution, you're going to get better as a player because now you're going to be a little bit more, your skills are improving every time. As to where with Marvel Strike Force, sometimes you kind of feel like it's just because it's repetitive and you monotonous a little bit. You're not really feeling like you're improving much. As to where here the challenge is higher.
Because it's turn-based and you could use skills in certain orders, and there's not that what is that word, that it's not as ambiguous as what is happening in the battle.
It's more predictable.
It's more predictable. You have more variance in this game, so I guess that is appealing towards some people and not as appealing towards some people. But you do need to pay attention in these battles. As you can see, the social aspect there. We just battled that Yellow Jacket boss. How many people were in that battle? How crazy was that? My goodness. Let's talk about the user interface and graphics. The graphics and sound of this game. Which do you prefer? Look at the Thanos visualization there. Can we even compare this? And we're not playing the sound here because I don't know what is copyrighted and not as far as the background music. But which do you think has better graphics and sound as far as the game?
Yeah, so I feel like it's almost not fair.
It's a redundant question, actually.
Yeah, no, it's almost not fair to make this sort of comparison. I feel because it's a turn-based RPG games. The graphics usually aren't that great. At least I haven't played any turn-based RPG game that the graphics have been insane.
They don't need to be because it's about the strategy, whereas this one is about the action. So I think it needs to have better graphics and better sound. So I think just the genres kind of lead to that, but I don't think you could compare.
You can't. It's not fair.
As good as the graphics and stuff are in Marvel Strike Force compared to some other games in the genre. Yeah, we can't even compare graphics and sound. Let's talk about one big thing for a lot of players, though. Monetization. Netmarble does it very well. Scopely does it very well. Sometimes it makes the players happy when they do it, sometimes not as happy. Have you spent any money so far in Future Rev? And how does it compare value-wise to the money you spent in Strike Force?
Yeah, so this is how I feel so far, and maybe it's too early to make this assessment, but I feel like with Marvel Strike Force, there are times where I feel like I'm damned if I don't spend, right? Like I'm gonna be putting myself back. Is this
as a player or a content creator though? Because there's two different aspects.
Well, that's right. As a content creator, I put a little bit more, and I don't put, for those who follow my channel, I don't put a lot of money into Marvel Strike Force, but I feel like there are certain times where I have to spend because I am a content creator, right? So there's more that I put into the game financially. As to where with Future Revolution, even as a content creator, I still don't feel like I'm compelled to spend any money on it because for me, I can still grind through whatever I need to grind through to get the resources that I need. I can get enough resources to craft gear. I can get enough resources to do get my squad rank up. Like I'm fine. I can get enough gold to upgrade abilities and other things in the game. So I feel okay. For me, I feel the only things that I want to spend on are costumes, which costumes are also gear, but costumes have nothing to do with me for gameplay. It's literally all about visuals. That's all I care about. I just want my character to look good. That's the only thing I've ever feel compelled to spend in this game. I don't feel like I have to spend to be competitive.
Yeah, it's weird because let's look at some of the offers here in Marvel Future Revolution. I don't feel that I need to spend to be competitive in this game either, and maybe because it's so new and I could grind. But I'm getting a lot of cool stuff just from playing. You know, doing those blitzes, doing those special missions. You get a lot of cool stuff, and you know, look at the prices on a lot of this stuff. It's pretty standard for a mobile game. You know, there's some pretty high prices, but I mean, mobile games normally are free, and the devs have to recoup their costs. One thing I did like as far as the article, what the devs were saying though about this game compared to Marvel Strike Force, they want 98% of their players to be free to play and enjoy the game that way, and then making their money on that other percent. And if you look at some of the offers here, they are, you know,
they kind of geared towards that, right?
Different prices, and I gotta agree with you. The things that I'm compelled to spend on are the things like this that are costumes. Even if they don't have a lot of value as far as what they'll actually do for gameplay, just visually, I'm compelled to buy more of these costumes. I'm more excited for these costumes than anything that might help the character a little more. So very, very different. Where's the spending in Marvel Strike Force is like, it's a little different as a content creator. I don't feel that I have to spend on that game, but if I want to chase the meta and be ahead of the meta, I do feel I have to. Now, as a content creator, I feel that's something that I need. I don't feel to make content on this game, at least not at this point, I need to spend. So there's a few different aspects there. But yeah, overall, there's positive and negatives to each game. And you're enjoying Future Rev better. Which game do you think you're going to enjoy long term more, like in 6 months, in a year? Are you still going to be playing Future Rev and Strike Force? And if so, which game do you think you're going to be feeling better about at those time marks?
Yeah, so I feel like there's a I do see a world where I'm probably still gonna love both of them. I think I may like Marvel Future Revolution a little bit more just because of just the history of a gamer that I am, right? Open world. It feels like I'm playing a PS4 game on my mobile phone, right? So I'm probably gonna enjoy that a little bit more. But Marvel Strike Force satisfies another itch, right? So therefore, I'll probably still enjoy that as well. I will say, and just to be straight up completely honest, I feel that since I've started playing Marvel Future Revolution, I've actually started liking Marvel Strike Force a little bit more because, like I said, I'm kind of getting both itches are being scratched right now for me. So I feel fine. You know, I don't feel, and even in Marvel Strike Force, I don't feel that same sort of I need to chase the meta anymore.
So you're enjoying Marvel Strike Force because of Future Rev, because you're not chasing the meta as much, and it's allowing you to enjoy the game more. Is that?
So allowing me to enjoy the game a little bit more. Wars are competitive, but not as competitive. Or I don't feel the stress anymore. I feel a little bit sometimes that Marvel Strike Force can create. We'll see whether or not that changes with Future Rev. It's still early in the game, and we're making our early assessments. But I think overall, just because of the play style of Future Rev, I like that a little bit more. But also, Marvel Strike Force definitely scratches an itch that I have as well.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm enjoying both games right now as well. I think I'm enjoying Future Rev more right now. A lot of it has to do with the novelty because it's new, because it's something different. It's something that I haven't really played before. I've been playing these hero collector turn-based RPGs for so long now that something different is fun, and getting new characters that are basically nothing and having to build them up. There's something cool to that as well. So both games are good. Some people are going to prefer one over the other, and that may change over time based on what the devs do with these games. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Do you enjoy Strike Force better? Do you enjoy Future Rev better? I think there's positives and negatives to each, but I think there's enjoyment and fun to be found with both guys. So that is my thoughts. Make sure you check out Goofy's video. He talks. We were talking about which characters are the best to start with, the best starting characters, because there's 8 to start with. So we're talking about our thoughts on that on his channel. So check that out. Any other thoughts before we go, Goofy?
No, man, just like I said, if you're a gamer, you'll like both games. One you may like a little bit more than the other, and that's completely okay. The biggest thing is make sure that you are having fun, whichever one you decide to play with.
Yeah, either one. They're both games, so have fun. That is the most important point. Gameplay, daily gameplay on my second channel for Future Rev, and Marvel Strike Force will continue on this channel with some with these fun Future Rev type videos that will pop up every now and then. So that is it, Goofy. Before you go, you know what we do on this channel. Where's that fist bump, brother? There it is. Hog fist bump. Goofy, Rexy, and ValleyFlyin out. Have a great weekend and have a great rest of your day, guys. Happy 4th of July. Woo! Woo!